A classic, seminal, modern-day horror franchise that not only consolidated the genre, but also redefined it. We have seen not one, not two, not three, not even four, but 5 cinematic classics, plus a series, and now a 6th installment has just been announced.
Seriously? Another one? Come on, give us something original, will you? I know.
But wait, is this yet another slasher that just keeps on slashing long after the audience has lost interest? Do we need a 6th installment? Do we, fans of horror, guardians of the haunted realm, even care about a 6th film? Well, you are watching Den of Horror. I am Den, and I am here to tell you that if there is one horror franchise that the world of horror truly does need, it's this one, and I'm going to tell you why. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Part 6. You get it? Like with all the screaming. Part 6. Scream. 6. Now, going back 2 or 3 years when I first heard about the new Scream movie that would later become Scream 5, I must admit I wasn't that thrilled. I mean, did we really need yet another lackluster stab at reviving another Hollywood horror franchise? My prediction, this movie was going to be a bloated, expensive cash grab. A cheap imitation of the 1996 original and classic Scream. And boy, was I wrong, and I couldn't be happier to admit it. This film dethroned the new Spider-Man movie at the box office, and it was, in my opinion, way better than Halloween Kills. Like the original did 25 years ago, Scream 5 reinvigorated the slasher genre. But it did something else too. It raised the bar for sequels. No longer is it okay to simply remake or rehash a classic horror movie. If you're going to do it, you better do it properly. And this is the standard that Scream 5 has set. It paid homage to the original, it paid homage to the genre of horror as well as the genre's fans, but it also attempted to expand the world of Scream and steer it towards gorier, more gruesome, and more violent pastures. Ghostface has well and truly returned. Now, does all of this mean that the Scream franchise is absolutely perfect? Does this mean that we, fans of horror, guardians of the haunted realm, should simply open up our arms and blindly welcome a 6th installment in without any apprehension or discernment whatsoever? Absolutely not. If Ghostface is going to slash again, Ghostface better slash properly and not fall into the same trap that a lot of the slashers did before it. For all of the Scream franchise's absolute awesomeness, which I am going to share with you in a few moments, there is one potential pitfall that I hope the 6th installment is going to steer clear of. Let's see if you agree. Now, I don't know if you guys are going to be on the same page with me over here, but I think Scream did a very good job of slowly passing the torch on from the original cast to a younger, newer generation. Having said that though, and I don't think that this is a problem that has really taken root in the franchise yet, but it's something that could become a problem going forward. It's that going forward, the Scream franchise becomes too reliant on the original cast. I know this might come as a surprise to some of you. I mean, the original cast and the original Scream is my generation's Scream, but I do think that going forward, the Scream franchise needs to be careful of trying to find new ways to motivate returning the cast to the newer installments. I think that the focus needs to be placed more solely on the newer, younger cast. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, I think it's awesome that every single Scream movie has featured Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, and Huey Riley. This is one of the ways that the series pays homage to Wes Craven's genre-bending original. But I do find that by constantly dragging Sidney back from her past for every single new installment is becoming a little too illogical and a little too convenient. As the series gets further and further away from the 1996 original, it becomes more difficult to motivate her return, in my opinion. As much as I love the character and the actress, I would like to see Scream build itself around a new hero or heroine. The first thing is the quality of the franchise in general. I mean, we all know how easy it is for a studio to simply hash out one sequel after the next and ride on the coattails of a successful original. But I challenge you to find a single Scream movie that isn't justifiably good. Now, okay, I would accept your argument that Part 3 was maybe the series' low point, but even as the series' low point, it's still in its own right a pretty good movie. It expanded on the world that the original set up, it gave us different facets of the characters, it even dared to change the tone up a little bit. The thing is that every single Scream movie boasts a good story that, like Part 3 did, expands further and further on the world that the original set up. It also pays homage, every film pays homage to the original, gives us the characters in a different way. But the thing is, that I love most about the Scream series is that it never treats us, the audience, as a bunch of dummies that are simply willing to accept any old ridiculous leap in logic.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
The Scream franchise is one of the only horror franchises that has maintained over such a long period of time true viewing quality. Secondly, Scream continues to deconstruct the genre of horror, taking it to new places. While nodding its long white mask to the classics that came before it, it also reinvents and reinterprets the rules of the genre. And for me, it's not only become one of the true classic modern-day horror franchises, but also a study and an example of the very elements that make the genre work. The third thing that I love about the Scream franchise is the great directing. Now sure, that's an easy one. I mean, we're talking about Wes Craven here. But just remember, even Wes Craven stumbled a little bit before returning with his horror redefining classic that was Scream. Not only did Wes Craven, the mastermind behind A Nightmare on Elm Street, redefine the very genre, the slasher genre that he helped create, but in 1996, with the original Scream, he not only redefined the genre, but he redefined himself as a legendary horror director. And last but not least, the fourth thing that I absolutely love about the Scream franchise is Neve Campbell. Neve Campbell. With her portrayal of Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell gave us a heroine that didn't derive her strength from being physically stronger than the antagonist or hitting decimals higher than the Scream queens that came before her, but by being smarter, wittier, and more resourceful than the antagonist. She overcomes the death and carnage around her, growing stronger as the series progresses. It's no wonder that Neve Campbell continuously receives high acclaim for her performances. Now, I would be the first person to say that the franchise does need to move on from Sidney Prescott, but I'll also admit this. The footsteps that Neve Campbell has left in her wake are going to be difficult footsteps to follow in. Now, so far, at least as far as this recording goes, not many plots of Scream 6 have been released, and personally, I'm not going to go on a very active search to find out more. I kind of like my horror served with a little bit of mystery. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think that this new look Scream will continue the success train that began back in 1996? Drop us a comment down below. And by the way, let me know if you like this kind of content, if you like this wacky take on the genre of horror. Bite me with a subscribe or with a like, and if there's something that you would like me to watch and share my thoughts on, drop me a note down below too. I'd be happy to give you my take if time permits. On that note, I'm going to go and watch another horror-bending, horror-defining film called Last Night in Soho. Maybe not as successful as Scream was, but it was, in my opinion, one of the overlooked horror gems of the last 2 or 3 years. So be sure that in the next episode I will tell you why I think so. Fans of horror, stay safe, stay happy, and most of all, stay horror. Until next time, cheers.